Great Awakening. Just to give a few moments for the notification to go out. So while I wait for people to get on, I'm just going to let the new folks, because I know we have. Hey, thank you for joining. How are you? Miss Georgiana, thank you for joining. Um, I know we have a lot of new people in the community, so I want to say welcome, and I'm going to do an official welcome, um, hopefully later today or tomorrow. But I am Phoenix Love of the Healers Haven Wellness Solutions. I work with purpose driven leaders like yourself to provide holistic healing solutions and therapeutic interventions to help you achieve your wellness goals as well as work life balance. I am the helper to the healer and the healer to the helper. So, welcome to Morning Chat for the Soul. And I am going to get started in a few. I just want to see if we get a few more people on. Usually, you grab your cup of herbal tea or hot lemon water um, to really start your day and get your digestive system working in order and get it started and pumped up with nice warm fluids. Hey, how are you? I hope you got some rest. So I'm going to get started just because I try to keep this to a half an hour to be respectful of everyone's Sunday time, whether you're going to a house of worship or you have other plans or just going to rest, because Sunday is a day of rest as well. Rest, family, spirituality practices. So, let me just put this down. Okay. So I wanted to talk about spiritual maintenance because, and I really wanted, that's why I was hoping to get some more folks on this morning. I really wanted it to be more interactive because I wanted to hear from each of you. What do you feel spiritual maintenance really means? What does it mean to you? Um, because we all may have a different perspective of what that means and what it looks like. Great Awakening, sister. Thank you for joining. So, my question, and while I'm talking, kind of going over what my perspective of spiritual maintenance is and just giving a little bit more insight on the topic, type in the comments, and I really want to hear from you. What do you feel spiritual maintenance is? What does that mean for you? What does that look like for each of you? Give it a little thought. And if you don't have the answer right now while we're on together, you can always type it in the comments later. But I really want to hear from each of you. What does spiritual maintenance mean to you? Because, like I said, it can mean something very different to you than it does to me. And I don't think there's really one answer for that because everybody's spirituality path is very different. And hi, Amir. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Great Awakening. So everybody's spiritual path is very different. It's going to be unique depending on what God is calling you to do, depending on what your background has been, depending on things you're going through currently. It's going to look different, right? We have different belief systems. We come from different families. We're very, our makeup is different. From a spiritual standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, things we've been through. So that to me, that means that your spiritual maintenance may look a little different as well. Okay, depending on where you are in your spirituality, maturation, as far as what stage are you in, because all of that plays a role. But one thing I know for sure is that spiritual maintenance is necessary. So this is why I wanted to spend today, the beginning of the first Sunday of August, talking about spiritual maintenance. And like I said, if you're on and you can hear me, I want you to type in the comments what your thoughts are on what spiritual maintenance is. What does that look like for you? You know, and it doesn't have to be a long paragraph. It could just be, you know, your immediate thoughts. Spiritual maintenance is so and so. But I really want to get some feedback on this. And I usually, Morning Chat for the Souls, usually me giving a word and devotion and maybe a prayer or something. But I wanted to do things a little differently today, because August has a lot of, each month gives us an opportunity to kind of reset. And to me, spiritual maintenance really is about resetting. It's about, just like fasting, which would be a part of that, it gives you an opportunity to really take an assessment of your spirituality path, of your spiritual path that you're on, and say, okay, what do I need to do differently? What do I need to change, shift, or what's really going on? And sometimes we are kind of thrust into the need for spiritual maintenance because we're in spiritual warfare. And spiritual warfare is just what it is. It's warfare, it's warring, not necessarily with things outside of you, but most of the time it's the conflict between your flesh and your spirit. So many of us go into spiritual maintenance because we're thrust into it by spiritual warfare. But that's not always the case. Sometimes you know, because you're on your journey and usually you're mature in your spirituality path, and you say, you know what, I need to take a break. I need to take a break and really shut down a lot of things in my life so that I can, you know, build it back up and restore and rejuvenate myself. And that's from an emotional standpoint, mental standpoint, spiritual standpoint, and physical. It gives you an opportunity to really look at not only your outer world and what's affecting you and what's impacting you, but also your inner world. It gives you an opportunity to examine your thoughts, examine your emotions, examine what things trigger you. You know, what are the triggers? What are the things that really push your button that cause you to maybe not respond in the best way or respond the way you want to? It also gives an opportunity to look at your relationship with the divine creator. That's really, if anything, that's the foundation of it all, because everything starts there. So if you feel your relationship with the divine creator, with God, with Jehovah, with Yahweh, you know, we know there's many names, right? Some people say the universe, you know. If you feel that is not where you want it to be, or it's not strong enough, or you're not getting the downloads and the feed, and your spirit is not filled the way you want it to be, that is definitely a call for spiritual maintenance. Because at that time, look at it and say, well, what is it that's missing? Or what is it that's out of order? Because everything is about divine order, balance, harmony. This is how we want to operate in life on a daily basis, right? When having not only ourselves in alignment, but being in alignment with our plan, the purpose that God has for our life. So, I'm just doing life. Come on in, baby. So, we want to take the time to, what I like to say, break down to build up. And to me, that's what spiritual maintenance is all about. Because think about the word maintenance. Just like if your car needs maintenance, you take it to the mechanic shop, you let them do and see, I'm going to mess this up, diagnostics, just like when we have to do and get the car inspected, do a diagnostics, just find out what's going on. They put it up on that, you know, the lift with the machine. And look, I'm not, by all means, I don't understand all of that, but the little bit I do remember from taking my car to get maintenance done on it. But they have to do a diagnostic. They have to check everything out, make sure, you know, all the parts are working in decency and order, so you will be safe on the road. And so you don't have any breakdowns on the road, right? Think about that. So we're no different. We're no different. Remember, we're spiritual beings in this human flesh body, living out this human experience. So as spiritual beings, we have to make sure that we are also maintained. There's maintenance on us. There's maintenance on this spirit, this temple, right? And this temple is multifaceted. So we need to do our own self-diagnostic and make sure that everything is in decency and order so we don't have any breakdowns along the road. And we don't have any problems or issues or something is out of order. Because then if it's out of order, we need to get it back in order so that we can reach our destination. Just like with our cars get us to and fro our destination. This vehicle, our temple, it gets us to and fro our destinations as well. So we want to make sure it's operating in divine order. So this is what spiritual maintenance is all about. I mean, it's the easiest way, think about a car. And you want to make sure that you are in a headspace. And I'm just going to talk about that a little bit. You're mentally in a space to be able to say, you know what, I need to take a break. Because sometimes we can get so caught up in the day-to-day and all of the lights, cameras, and action of social media and regular media and other people, sometimes the people in our life, their drama, that we miss the cues in our own body, in our own temple. So I think first and foremost, we want to really check in with ourselves. And I'd like say, take a pause. And that's a big part of spiritual maintenance. That's the beginning. Take a pause and just really stop. And this is where meditation comes in. Get centered, get still, get quiet. Solitude. Because you want to be able to hear and know. And I'm just talking about, I'm not even talking about hear from God. I'm just talking about your inner know, just you. Just checking in with yourself. So that you know, okay, maybe I need to take some time and do some spiritual maintenance, especially if you're going through some kind of spiritual warfare. That's a whole nother level. There's no question then you need to take a step back and start to do some maintenance and really work on your inner man or inner woman. So that's my belief about spiritual maintenance. And what I do want to say, just give a couple of tips if you are looking to take the time in August, like I am, to really do some spiritual maintenance. And for me, it's really, I just try to do it at least, once or twice a year. Really twice a year. And it's usually around a time like this time, the end of the summer or the middle of the summer or definitely the end of the year. Those are usually the times I take time to do spiritual maintenance. I pull back from social media. I pull back, from a lot of things that to me can often be a distraction, because you want to definitely, let me step back. When you have so many different distractions around you, whether it could be people, whether it could be social media, whether it could be, stuff with your job, even your work that you do. Some things you just have to kind of pull back and get, like I said, get quiet, get centered. So for me, the end of the year, which is, right before we go into the new year, and then like this time is always a great time because I want to spend more time with my family and spend time more with self and spend time more with God. So again, yours may look very different, but that's what I choose to do. But there's a couple of principles, and I've spoken about this. We did a whole thing in the group about spirituality principles. So I'm just going to remind everybody, when you're doing your spiritual maintenance, definitely fasting should be a staple in there. Okay, and try to do an extended fast if you can, 7 to 21 days. It's very powerful. I did a 21-day fast, and when I say the results were amazing. So if you can do an extended fast, and as much as you can deny your flesh, meaning I'm not saying do an absolute fast because that's for the next level folks. But you can do something close like a Daniel fast, which is fruits and just raw fruits and vegetables and water. So you can, definitely fasting should be a part of that. No doubt prayer, scriptures, affirmation, but meditation is key. Because remember, prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening and getting the downloads. Okay? But meditation is so much more, because meditation has so many health benefits for you as well. Because when you talk about spiritual maintenance, again, it's not just talking about healing your spirit, it's talking about healing the total you and improving every aspect of you, especially your mind, your mental and your emotions. So meditation is so important to that healing process. So you definitely want to have those three things as your staples. But also taking the time out, like I said, to do some practical things. And some of that is just, looking at every aspect of your life and doing some journaling and making those lists, like what needs to go, what do you need to cut back on, and really assessing your sphere of influence, meaning the people that are in your life. And we've talked about this many times, because when you are on a path of, I want to fulfill my destiny, I want to live out this purpose, you want to make sure that you are aligning with the right people. So you do want to take the time to assess who's in your circle, who's in your sphere of influence. Okay? So those are just kind of a few tips, and definitely, like, there's some absolutes that you definitely need to have a part of your spiritual maintenance. And then there's some other things that you may have that you feel that you need to look at. But, again, that's your unique path. So you assess that and you know what that may be. So that's really it. And I am going to end this with two things that I want to talk about. Someone recently asked me about the lotus flower. And the lotus flower is such an amazing plant because it is the one flower that thrives in an environment that's not necessarily, I mean, it is, but it's not the environment that you would normally see like a plant thrive in, right? So a lotus flower, it grows and blossoms out of like murky, muddy waters and mud. And you usually don't hear like, okay, flowers, yes, it's water, yes, it's, the earth and everything, but it's very unique that it blossoms out of mud. And it's so symbolic of who we are as a people, because we go through some murky times, murky waters, muddy times, and yet we can still be resilient enough to come out on the other side. In Hinduism as well as Buddhism, they talk about when you ascend or when you become enlightened, the lotus flower is the symbol for enlightenment. And it's also associated with the crown chakra. So in Egyptian or in Kemetic, we talk about the lotus flower as when you do go through ascension and you come to that point, and which is very similar to what I just explained. You come to that point that you have went through the steps and went through the stages, and you have self-actualized, and you have come into who you are, and you're divinely connected to the Creator, and it's really a beautiful thing. But it represents so much, this little delicate looking flower that comes out of the mud, the darkness, and to be such light and to be able to be a light to other people. And that's us. And to me, that's a big part of spiritual maintenance, especially if you've gone through warfare. You are that lotus flower. You give it a chance to come back down, because this is something else the lotus flower does. It kind of goes to sleep. It comes back down into the murky waters in the mud, and then it comes back up again. And there it is, beautiful, and it shines, and it's not, got little speckles on it or anything. It's just beautiful, and it's beauty. And that's who we are. In the Bible, it talks about God gives us beauty for ashes. That's who we are. And that's a part of maintaining our temple, our spirit, everything about us, that the human aspect of us, but also the spiritual aspect of us. So when we take the time to submit ourselves to the divine Creator, submit ourselves and deny our flesh, and be able to fast and pray and meditate and get still, this is what happens. We still blossom. We're like that lotus flower. So it's an opportunity not only to reset, but it's an opportunity for us to be exactly who we're called to be. So that's why it's so important. And, yeah, take the time out to do some spiritual maintenance if you know it's a pulling and a calling, a pulling on your spirit to do so. I want to end with just reading something called Healing. And just trying to see who it's by. Carl Marie. I think just Carol Marie. So, healing. Every day I choose healing for my heart, mind, body, and spirit. This journey is my own unique experience. I can choose to make it whatever I wish. I take my time and I sit with my grief. I am not afraid to go deeper and ask it, what can it teach me? I learn from my grief. I work through the darkness in my life, and I am able to find the stars. I heal in my own time, and I am gentle with myself every day. I forgive myself, and I am able to forgive those who may have hurt me in the past. My heart may be broken, but I choose to fill the cracks with love and gentleness always. I am healing beautifully. So yes, spiritual maintenance, it gives you that time to heal any areas that you still may be struggling with. And it also gives you that time to see what areas you still may be struggling with and need to heal. So consider, doing some spiritual maintenance. Like I said, I will, reason why I wanted to come on. Hey, good morning, sis. So remember, everyone, because I don't see any comments, so if you had to take time to think about it, what does spiritual maintenance mean to you? Please drop those in the comments. Again, I want to hear from you. Would love to hear from you. I may just do a post and asking the question again because I want to get as much feedback as possible. Because I just want to hear what is your path leading you to as far as spiritual maintenance. Are you in spiritual warfare? That's another thing you need to look at, right? And making sure you know if you're in spiritual warfare. I think that's another thing we need to make sure we are aware of and we're able to discern. If you have any questions for me or you feel you need guidance, you can just reach out, inbox me. Yesenia said, releasing and purging thoughts, emotions, behaviors, energy. Excellent. I love it. So yeah, just drop those in the comments or, just let me know. And again, if you need some assistance, please don't hesitate to ask because that's what this community is for. That's what I'm here for. Like I said, I will be going on my own spiritual maintenance. And that doesn't mean I won't be present in the group. I'm just gonna, pull back from social media some. And, but Tatiana Rodriguez, she is the moderator, so she'll be participating. And all of y'all support each other really well. So, I will be returning with Morning Chat for the Soul in September, probably after Labor Day. And then, what else is coming back? Oh, Sunday Soup for Leaders will be back in October. Okay. But, posts will still go out. And plus, there's plenty in this community. So, especially for those of you that are new, some of you, those that has been here, there's so much content in this community. You can just go into the announcements. You can just scroll through. You can do a search under purpose, hashtag green. And there's so much content that you can be fed for the rest of the year. And I don't have to post one more thing. I've been posting in this community for about almost 2 years. We've been doing this for a long time. The name has changed, but the essence and the soul and the spirit has not. So all of the information is in there, and it's a lot of content. So just, do some search, poke around the community, the group, go through the announcements, watch the videos. There's a lot of old guided meditation that I've done on Mindfulness Monday. So there's plenty of content. And like I said, I'll be posting, but, Morning Chat for the Soul will come back. We'll be on hiatus to September. and then October, Sunday Soup for Leaders will return, where we get to do our virtual meetups. Speaking of meetups, real quick before I go, we had an amazing time yesterday at our summer Holistic Leaders Summer meetup at the wineries, the North Fork Wineries in Long Island. So if you missed it, you missed a whole lot, because we had a beautiful group of sisters, and we were there and just enjoying each other's company and talking and laughing and enjoying such, the good little foods that we had, and the wine, of course. I see you said here, yes. So yeah, don't miss our next meetup. The next meetup will be in the fall, because that will be our fireside chat. I'm not really sure. September, October. We want to wait till the temperatures drop, of course, because nobody's really doing anything fireside right now. Hey, brother, how are you? So I'm wrapping up, but yes, I will still be present. I'm not like disappearing from the group, but I am going to take some time for spiritual maintenance. And look, this is what this community is about. I want to believe you came and you're a part of it, and Holistic Living for Purpose-Driven Leader, because it's all about healing and elevating and being your best self from a spiritual, mental, emotional, physical standpoint. It's healing mind, body, soul, and spirit. So a part of that is making sure you are doing some spiritual maintenance and, working on you. So what's where, Clinton? Where what? I don't know what are you asking before I go? I'm getting ready to get off. So yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any other announcements I want to make. So I talked about the meetups. The virtual meetup will be October, probably. I think that's it. I think that is it. Oh, the 31 days of productivity. I'm glad. See, thank you for keeping me on a little bit long, because I would have forgot to mention this, Clinton. But let me know what you're asking. Where is what? The event. There's no event. I was saying that we just had our summer meetup here in New York. We went out to the North Fork wineries, the vineyards out in Long Island, and we had an amazing time. That was yesterday. We are doing a fireside. Yeah, they're in-person meetups for the group, for the Holistic Leaders group, and then we have our virtual meetups in October, which will come back in October. That's for everybody, people that are not, here in New York where I am. But we did have someone that came out, she came from Virginia. So people can come to the in-person meetups, if you're willing to travel, if you're close enough, or you just want to travel. So yeah, we do meetups. This was our second one that we did yesterday. And the next one will probably be in October or end of September, when the weather cools down some, because it's going to be a fireside chat. It'll be here in New York, Clinton. So, I'm always going to post, and it'll be a part of the events. So it'll be in the event section. Okay, so just look out for that information. So back to the 31 days of productivity. That can keep you busy for the month. It could be part of your spiritual maintenance as well. If you didn't see the post, it's in the announcements. We are doing, as a group, 31 days of productivity. This came out of last week's morning chat for the soul, where I spoke about being complete, or completeness, being whole. And we talked about procrastination as being a deterrent to that, or just, keeping us off course. So what I said, the best way to starve procrastination is to feed productivity. And I did a post called 31 Days of Productivity. So I know I've been doing it. I know some other people, a lot of people seem to be excited and said they want to do it. So I hope you're doing it. So check it out. It's listed in the announcements. I think we're on day 4. And just, if you haven't done 1 through 3, just do 1 through 3. And then each day is something to help feed your productivity and get you on the right track towards completeness, towards wholeness, helping you to not procrastinate, helping you to not be distracted by the things around you that keeps you off-centered, So again, this feeds right into spiritual maintenance as well. Okay, so they all, it's connecting the dots. If you look at, the morning chats for the soul, you go back and look at the old ones, you see that there's a divine connection to everything. All to help you elevate and be the best that you can be, and take you further along towards your path towards greatness. Okay, so everyone have a blessed day. And like I said, I will be doing an official welcome to all of our new members. And just keep inviting members to the community, because we are going to do some amazing things this fall. Meetups and virtual meetups and challenges. I have a couple of webinars coming up. So you definitely want to be here, because this is where it's at. All right, everyone. Have an amazing day.